welcome back to another video, guys. Now, that's right, today we're back with my end of the month video. These are always maybe my favourite videos to film on the channel, because I get to talk about a variety of films I've just watched for the first time, and it's always fun for you guys to see what I've been watching. Now, I'm going to be honest, this month I've seen around 15 films, which is quite a step down from the previous months, like all of them, because I normally watch at least 30 films a month, which I know is a bit mental anyway. Yeah, the reason for that, I went on holiday this month. I also had my birthday celebrations, so around my birthday I was tending to just take a lot of time for me and just watch films that I knew I liked, films I wanted to rewatch. So I was watching a lot of Marvel, Star Wars, a lot of my favourite things. So yeah, I haven't really watched as many films for the first time this month. However, I still watched a few. I've got a handful here to talk about, so we're going to crack right in. Let me shift so we can have the lovely movie posters, voila, appear right here. So the first film I watched of November 2021 was The Harder They Fall. Now that's right, this was the new Netflix Western, starring Mr. Idris Elba. Yeah, this was an interesting movie. I'd heard a lot of people saying it was really good, so I kind of went into it with not high expectations, but better expectations for a Netflix film. There were some really good aspects about it. First off, I enjoyed the score itself, but I didn't like the music choices at all. Really didn't think they fitted with a Western. I know that it was trying to give it a more unique vibe to make it stand out to other Westerns, but this factor of the music really didn't work. But the score was quite good, I thought. The actors all did a great job, I'll say that. Idris Elba was great. The guy who plays the main guy in it, who plays Kang in Loki, he was great. He was really awesome in this role. I can't wait to see what else that man does in his career. So there were a lot of good aspects. I thought the movie looked a bit too clean, though. Like, a lot of the costumes were really clean, and, like, the hairstyles were really nice. Everyone was really trimmed, and it's like, this doesn't really fit a Western vibe. You know, Westerns, you know, need a lot of poor people, kind of, you know, down in the slums sort of people. It's like, everyone looks really clean here. And the cinematography was nice, but I thought the film was a bit bright as well. I don't know if it's just because I'm used to other Westerns, and Westerns are very gritty movies. This one, I don't know, it tried to be really serious, but then visually, it didn't allow me to take it seriously, I don't think. However, it was still a good film. As I said, the story was interesting. A lot of the effects were great. The actors were cool. You know, there were still some really good things about this movie. I did still enjoy it, but I was a little bit disappointed. But I still enjoyed it enough. I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. Next up, we have a film I reviewed in detail here on the channel, so I'll be brief on this one, and that is The Eternals, the new Marvel film, the one that apparently everyone hates because it's got a lot of diversity in and it's a bit slower. Now, if you've got some real complaints about this movie, like to be fair, the slower one, that's fair enough. You know, I know that some people don't like this movie, and that's cool. That's completely fine. I personally had a good time with it. I could definitely see some issues with this movie. Yeah, the pacing isn't great. The film throws you about constantly, which I really think it could have handled better. And yeah, it overall is a bit disappointing. I was expecting something from Chloe Zhao to be... I was expecting this to be top 5 even Marvel films, and it's definitely not that. So yeah, it is a bit of a disappointing film, but it's still good. It's not bad by any means. I love the diversity factor to it. You know, these characters influenced all of human history and stuff. Why wouldn't they be diverse? So I really love that aspect to it. And I think that's one of the things I love about this movie. The characters are really cool. You know, they had like 9 or 10 Eternals here to introduce and make us like. And for the most part, they are all likable when you sort of get their personality traits and stuff. Captain Marvel struggled to do that with one new character, okay? This film done pretty well there, I think. The effects are cool. I liked the story to it. Yeah, I just think in the editing room, this film could have been a lot better. You know, it's a bit choppy and a bit dragged out in some places. But there are some aspects of this film I really like. I can't wait to see where these characters go next. And the end credit scene was really cool. I did give this film an 8 out of 10. I'm going to drop it to a 7.5. But I still did really like this film. I don't get the hate myself, but hey-ho. Then we have The Good, The Bad, The Ugly. That's right, I'm continuing on still with my Clint Eastwood box set, The Good, The Bad, The Ugly. That's right, I'd seen this film when I was really young, but because it was so long ago, I'm counting it as a first-time watch. Wow, this film is incredible. This is a Western. Clint Eastwood is brilliant in this movie. I love how it sort of takes aspects from the first two films, the Man with No Name trilogy, and sort of mixes them in here really well. There was some really, really cool action sequences to this. They really make Clint Eastwood's character, like, they really beat him up in this movie at times as well, which I thought was cool. And the final showdown was just awesome. The good, the bad, the ugly. I don't really know what I can say about it that hasn't been said before. I'm going to give this film a 9 out of 10. I thought it was absolutely brilliant. Then we have Do the Right Thing, a Spike Lee movie. I bought this in Criterion a while ago now. I bought it when I was in Cardiff, and it's sort of been sitting on my shelf for a good month or two, and I'm like, do you know what? It's finally time to watch this. This film blew my mind. I really love this. If you like Spike Lee, if you like Black Klansman, or The Five Bloods, you know, his more recent ones, I think this is a great movie to check out. The Criterion's a beautiful, beautiful packaging as well. But yeah, this film was really, really good. The characters are definitely what drive this film forward, and they were all really interesting. I love the way it's shot as well. There's some really nice cinematography. The colour palette's good. The score was also really, really great. Didn't really know where the story was going, but it went in a very interesting direction. I love the last act to this movie. I'm going to give this film an 8.5 out of 10. Next up, we have Binch, the Apple Plus original movie starring Mr. Tom Hanks. He's more or less the only guy in this. It is Tom Hanks with his dog and his robot. I've seen a lot of mixed things in this film. I've seen some people love it and some people say they thought it was naff. I sort of feel somewhere in the middle is where the truth lies. This film, is it great? No. Is it naff? No. I think it's a good film. There really isn't any plot to this movie. This film really relies on the relationship between Tom Hanks and his robot. And it's good. It's interesting. The robot reminded me a lot of WALL-E with that innocent charm and the really cute voice. But yeah, you know, Finch, I really enjoyed it on first watch, but it's one of those weird movies where, yeah, I really liked it, and I don't think I'm ever going to rewatch it because I don't want to ruin my my feelings towards this movie, but I also have no reason. I don't really have, there's nothing in me that's making me want to rewatch the movie. I think it's a one-time watch type film. It's good. Yeah, I mean, if you love a plot, you're not going to get it. This is purely character-driven, but it is well written. I'm going to say the effects on the robot are bloody brilliant as well. I'm going to give this film a 7 out of 10. Then we have Red Notice, which has yesterday officially become Netflix's most successful movie. Which is interesting, because I've seen a lot of people saying, who's watching this? Who's watching it? Well, apparently I'm watching it. I watched the movie, yeah. I was excited for this because I really liked that clip they released where The Rock and Ryan Reynolds try and steal one of the eggs from Gal Gadot in a museum and have a fight. And I thought that was choreographed really well. And that clip actually sold me. Like, yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to this. The film's okay. It's not bad, I don't think, because it is fun. But it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, typical Rock fun. The positives are, I think Ryan Reynolds is just always a pleasure to watch. He cracks me up. I know he's telling the same Deadpool jokes that he always tells in films nowadays, but he was just fun to watch. The Rock was entertaining. Gal Gadot, you know, she's not a very good actress. I'm sorry if there's fans for her watching. She's not a very good actress, but you know, she was okay in this. She had some moments where I was like, yeah, okay, you're doing your normal stuff. Very attractive as well, so there's a bonus. Yeah, and the story moved at a good pace, so yeah. The bads, the story is just ridiculous. And the CGI, the special effects in this particular film were god-awful. Absolutely terrible. And I did get a bit bored sometimes of The Rock just being himself and Gal Gadot's acting. I know I'd actually just complimented them, so it doesn't really make much sense. At times they were okay, and then at times they weren't, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Ryan Reynolds gets away with it, because I just really like Ryan Reynolds. But, yeah, this film, I'll give it a 5 out of 10. It's very just middle of the road. Then I watched Tick, Tick, Boom, which I believe is the directorial debut of Lin-Manuel Miranda. I don't think he's directed a movie before. But, of course, the guy, you know, very well known for, you know, he's doing his musicals, you know, done Hamilton, In the Heights, He's also written a lot of music for Disney stuff, like the new Encanto film, which we'll be talking about in a minute, and Moana, stuff like that. So he's fantastic. This film blew my mind. This was absolutely fantastic. Definitely the best Netflix film this year. Wow. Incredible. I love that. I've watched so many interviews and documentaries not documentaries, interviews and behind the scenes stuff about this movie now. Like Andrew Garfield getting the part, he was like, I can't sing, and then he done a test screen and Lin-Manuel Miranda come out going, oh my god, you can sing, I told you. Wow, and just learning about the I can't remember his name. The guy who Andrew Garfield plays, just learning about him, because I don't know much about him, was really fascinating to me. The songs were so good. I love the opening one. I'm a bit addicted. And to the one where him and Vanessa Hudson are sitting on the stage and they sort of like they're talking to each other really quick. I'm obsessed with a few of the songs. This film was it was really incredible, I thought. Really, really fantastic. I don't really have any bad things to say about it. I thought it was directed so perfectly. Lin-Manuel Miranda is just a genius. He's one of the best people working in Hollywood today. All the actors just gave such great performances. The pacing's brilliant. I love it. I love this film. I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. Then we have another film which I reviewed in detail, so I'll be quick. Ghostbusters Afterlife. Yeah, this film shook me to my core. The first 2 acts are typical Ghostbusters nostalgia, where it's really fun. It's just exactly what you want as a Ghostbusters remake, unlike that god-awful 2016 one we had to suffer through. The film moves so perfectly. It's just such a love letter to fans from, of course, the director's son who made the movie, and the original director of the first film was sitting right next to him apparently for most of the movie. So it's a very family-orientated made movie. All the characters and cast are really good, other than Finn Wolfhard's character. I thought he was a bit weak. He sort of felt like the odd one out to me. Just felt a bit unnecessary in there. But wow, incredible. And the last act, doing it without spoiling it, broke me. It's the first time I've cried in the cinema, I think. It was fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. This might be a bit high of a score for this movie, because I think on a filmmaking aspect, it's around the 8 mark. But I'm going to give it this mark because of how good that final act was, how well it handled an actor's death, and it was beautiful. I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. Then we have Home Sweet Home Alone. This was a movie. This was a movie. So I like Home Alone. I love the original 2. The first one is my favourite Christmas film. I really like the second one as well. Home Alone 3 was okay. Home Alone 4 was bad, but it was kind of funny bad. I think there's a 5th one, but I haven't seen it, because I think this is the 6th one. I haven't seen the 5th one. I have no plans to, because I hear it's god-awful. So, I knew what this film was going to be. I knew it was going to be bad. But I was sort of looking forward to it in a weird way. It's like, it'll be bad, but it'll be Home Alone. I like Home Alone. I like the kid in it. It's got Aaron from The Office in as well, you know. This film was fucking terrible. It was absolutely awful. The main kid in it, who was in JoJo, and I thought he was good in JoJo. No disrespect to him because he's a kid and stuff, but he was terrible. It was like he was in a different movie. The burglars, I hated them, and it's such a shame because the actress who, you know, most people know her mostly as Erin from The Office. She's really great. She's funny. She's a really great actress. And I felt so bad watching her. I was like, this is embarrassing. Like, their characters, I hate the fact that they're kind of nice burglars, you know. Like, I still remember in the original, we have Al Pacino just going, I'm gonna kill him, I'm gonna kill him, I'm gonna kill him. It's like, you know, we don't get none of that now. It's like, we're just gonna burgle, we're just gonna get that one thing out of there, and we leave him alone. And it's like, it's like Disney are almost afraid to make a proper Home Alone film now. And, you know, there was just low humour, like fart jokes and stuff that went on. It's like, they don't just fart once. It's like, oh, they made a fart joke. It's like, do another fart joke. Oh, look, there's another fart. It is awful. This film fucking sucked. 1.5 out of 10. This film was fucking awful. Truly awful. Okay, then we have Spencer. Now, Spencer, I didn't rush to the cinema to see this one, and I'll explain why. I'm not a huge follower of the royal family. I'm sorry if there's any fans of the royal family watching. I don't really care about the royal family much. It's, you know, I don't think it's, you know, my generation, I don't think it's something that my generation really do care about too much, in all fairness. So I wasn't really, I love watching historical stuff, like about, like, you know, the old Tudor kings and queens of England. I find that a lot more interesting, but about our current day ones, you know, about 20, 30 years ago, not really my thing. That's why I haven't watched The Crown yet. Even though I will get around to that at one point, because I hear it's amazing. And I don't really care about Diana much as well, to be honest. You know, it's just not something I've ever been too interested in. Anyway, film comes out, I hear it's good. So I'm like, I will watch it. You know, fair enough, I will watch it. The trailers didn't really do much for me. I watched it, and so this is coming from a completely non-biased opinion. You know, as I've said, don't care about the royals. This film was incredible. Unbelievable. It was so good. So good. I was not expecting this film to be set over a 3-day period. I thought it was going to be more like a complete biopic. I'm so happy it wasn't that. There were actual horror aspects, as she was being haunted by Anne Boleyn, one of Henry VIII's wives, which I thought was fascinating. A really fascinating direction to go. The score to this movie was brilliant. The score was fantastic. The cinematography was gorgeous. You can tell that this movie was filmed on film. I miss film so much in cinema. You can tell. The cinematography was just so incredible. And the acting, Kristen Stewart, wow. I knew she could act. She just doesn't like to do it very much in her movies, I don't think. She likes to give off this more awkward persona. Wow. I think surely, you know, we're going to talk about House of Gucci in a minute, but it's got to be between her and Gaga. Incredible performance. The costumes as well. I'm in awe of this movie. This is top 2, 3 films of the year for me. I say, if you're not into the royals, like me, still just watch it. It's incredible. It is fantastic. I loved this movie. 9 out of 10. Then we have The Matrix. I had seen The Matrix when I was very younger, but I can't remember it. And I want to be prepared for the new one because the trailers look so good. So I thought I'm going to rewatch The Matrix. I'm counting it as a first time watch because I remember literally nothing. And yeah, you know, I don't really know what to say about this film that hasn't already been said before because it's a classic. It's great. The action's fantastic. I love the idea of The Matrix. Yeah, I just really loved this movie. I thought it was really fun, really awesome. I wish that the green colour palette that they go with on this movie wasn't quite ramped up so much. But yeah, it's a really, really great movie. The action sequences are fantastic. All the actors are doing a good job. Yeah, Matrix. 8.5 out of 10. Then we got Encanto, the new Disney animated movie, which went to cinema to see. Of course, music's done by Lin-Manuel Miranda. I've reviewed this film in detail, so I'll be brief again. Knew nothing about this film going into it. Hadn't seen a trailer, hadn't seen a preview, hadn't seen nothing. Loved it. Great, really, really great Disney film. If you got kids, this is the perfect film of the year for you. To take them to go see. The characters are great. You really get connected to every character in the house. You understand where they relate into the family, because it's a big family. The powers are cool. The colour palette of the movie is fantastic. The songs are obviously good. Lin-Manuel Miranda's done them. They're obviously good. They wouldn't be bad. Yeah, voice cast do a great job as well. I think the animation, I preferred the animation in Raya and The Last Dragon, but in every other aspect, this film trumps Raya. Really, really great film. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. And then we've got Where Eagles Dare, another Clint Eastwood film. Now, I heard really good things about this one. Like, before I pop a Clint Eastwood film into my DVD player now, because now I'm away from the Man with No Name trilogy, I have a little look at what I'm getting into. And this film has really good reviews. And I've got to say, I was disappointed. Yeah, people were really raving about this one. I was like, it's good, but I didn't love it. I found myself getting bored a lot during this film, which is surprising, because I've really been into those older American-made 60s movies lately. I love the Man with No Name trilogy. It was great. But yeah, I just really couldn't connect with this one much. I really just don't have much to say about it. It was too long. I feel like the pacing kept losing me. I kept dropping out. Yeah, I just really don't have much to say about it. It was just very meh. I'll give it a 6.5 out of 10. I think people really like this film, so I definitely feel like I'm in the minority here, which I apologise, but Yeah. We have another Clint Eastwood film straight up, Paint Your Wagon, which of course is a very famous, well, not very famous, but it's famous, stage play and stuff. I looked into this one before I watched it, and I heard that this one wasn't very good. I heard this was more on the average side, but I enjoyed this one more. I'm sorry, Clint Eastwood fans. I preferred this film to Where Eagles Dare. I didn't know it was a musical. I sort of put it on, they were all singing. I was like, oh, okay, maybe it's just a little opening number. And then, like, Clint Eastwood has a song here and there. And I was like, wow, okay. Really weird story of Clint Eastwood and his partner who both sort of fall in love with the same girl. And then it's sort of like who's going to end up with her, who won't. And it's a really interesting dynamic. And I actually thought his relationship with his partner was awesome. I thought the songs were really chipper and stuff. And the set productions and stuff were great, especially at the end when the mining system sort of caves in. I thought it was great to watch. I had a lot more fun with this one. 7.5 out of 10. Oh dear. And then I watched Torn Curtain, which is Mr. Alfred Hitchcock, of course. I like to try and get at least one Alfred Hitchcock, one Godzilla film in a month. They're my 2 series at the minute. Can't lie, I didn't do a Godzilla film this month, but we'll be back next month for one of his. Torn Curtain, I again, looked this one up before I watched it as well. I heard this one weren't great, and I got to agree. I think this is easily the worst Hitchcock film I've seen so far. I was very, very bored. Yep. Honestly, by the end of it, I just wanted the film to end. I love Hitchcock as well. I absolutely adore the guy. But, if you follow me on Letterboxd, you'll see I've put this one dead last, 2.5 star rating out of 5. I thought it was just so painfully average, which is just such a shame from one of your favourite directors ever now. Yeah, I just don't have anything to say about this one. I just don't think there was really any of Hitchcock's flair to it. There wasn't really any style to the movie. The plot was just not that interesting. The film was too long. I don't think there was anything particularly bad about this movie. It was just all painfully average. And that's why I'm going to give this film, I'll go a bit kind, I'll go 5.5 out of 10. Then we have Basil the Great Mouse Detective. Yeah, I was just sort of scrolling through Disney and I'm like, you know what? I've seen like 50 of the 60 animated movies. Maybe I should try and finish that so I can say I've seen every Disney animated movie. So, yeah, I put Basil the Great Mouse Detective on because I'd never seen that one before. And, it's a Sherlock Holmes ripoff. And it was fun. I liked it. There was some quirky moments to it. I think it was missing some of the Disney charm a little bit because it was just so Sherlock influenced, obviously. But some of the Disney charm of like some of the musical numbers, from the films we were getting during that period of time, with like Oliver and Company and The Little Mermaid. I think, it was sort of missing a little bit. But there was still some really good stuff. I think the voice acting was really good. The end fight scene was typical Disney and I loved it. Yeah, it's, again, even though it's the first time I watched, it sort of pulled me back to my childhood. I love watching those, basically all the 2D animation stuff from Disney. Even if I haven't seen it before like this, because it just brings me back to my childhood. Reminds me when I was watching like Peter Pan, Jungle Book, and The Lion King growing up. So yeah, I enjoyed this. 7.5 out of 10. Then we have Last Christmas, the Emilia Clarke Christmas film that came out a few years ago with music from Mr. I can't think of his name. How can I not think of his name? The singer from Wham. I remember Wham. The guy who sings Faith. Come on, what's his name, James? What's his name? Last Christmas. Da, 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 da. What the hell is his name? I've even got like a few of his records over there. I'm having a complete mind fart here. I genuinely cannot think of his name. The lead singer from Wham. I had to look because it was eating me up. George Michael. How did I not remember that? Huh. I've got a few of his records. Don't get me wrong, I'm not a big George Michael fan, but I've got a couple. I've got Faith and I've got like Wham's Greatest Hits. How do I not remember his name? Anyway, so yeah, all the music inspired by the late great George Michael. As I say, I'm not a massive fan of him. So like or his music. So when a lot of the songs were playing, half of them didn't even sound Christmassy. I was like, this just doesn't fit here in this movie. So yeah, I thought that was a bit odd. Now my friend Ryan just watched this and he liked it, so I was like, I'm gonna give it a go. I'm sorry, Ryan, if you're watching. I'm sorry. I really did not like this movie. I really didn't like it. I thought the story just wasn't interesting. None of the side characters were interesting. The music choices were very odd. Emilia Clarke, I like Emilia Clarke, I do. She gives some really good performances sometimes. This is not one of them. I thought she was bad in the movie. I just didn't like this movie. I'll give it a 4 out of 10. Then we've got 2 left. I watched Winnie the Pooh from 2011. So in America, this is counted as one of Disney's 60 animated movies. Here in the UK, it's not. I only found this out recently because of a commenter. I think it was Miss Tin and Sonic. Yeah, this was fun. This was fun. I love Winnie the Pooh. I do. I love Winnie the Pooh, Tigger, Eeyore. Eeyore is like my spirit animal. I love it. This was just a fun little movie. Little telltale from them. The animation's gorgeous. Yeah, I just had a really, really fun time with this movie. I don't really have loads to say about it. Some of the voice acting, you know, like from the kid who played Christopher Robin, not the best. I always imagine Christopher Robin sounding a little bit older than that from the original movies, the original show. But yeah, you know, it's still pretty good. I'll give this film a 7 out of 10. And the last film up I watched was House of Gucci. Ridley Scott's new film. Yeah, this was, like, the first 2 acts, I was so there. Adam Driver and Lady Gaga were killing it. Jason Isaacs, Al Pacino also giving great performances. Jared Leto was in a completely different movie, but he was fun, I guess. And I don't know much about the family of Gucci, so it was really interesting. There was some really good choices in here. I thought a lot of the music was good. I don't know, a couple numbers, like the one at the wedding, which I think was Faith, actually, George Michael again, reoccurring theme here. The set design and the costumes were great. The last act just lost me, though. It just really started to drag, I thought, and ended up not loving this film as much as I wanted to. I definitely preferred The Last Duel out of the 2 Ridley Scott films this year. This was good. It had a lot of really good elements, but it just wasn't as good as I wanted it to be. I'll go 7.5 out of 10. Okay, so my film of the month. I've got to pick my favourite film of the month here. I'm tossing and turning between 4 films here. 4 films. I've got 4 films I really want to give shouts to. The Good, the Bad, the Ugly. Do the Right Thing. Tick, Tick, Boom. And Spencer. 4 films there that I absolutely loved. But my film of the month is going to go to... It's quite hard to choose between those 4 because they're all bloody awesome. I'm going to go with Spencer. Yeah, just because I just, this film wowed me. Really did. Like, as I say, costumes and the acting and the score were all phenomenal. The little extra effort of filming on film and stuff, and you can really see it with the, you know, it looks like this film was filmed in the 90s. Cinematography being gorgeous. Not making it a standard biopic because they're so popular now. Like, they went a different route with this one. Incredible movie. If you haven't seen Spencer, go see it. Anyway, there we go. There's all the films I watched for the first time throughout November of 2021. I hope you guys enjoyed this video as always. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, like the video, leave a message. And as always, I'll see you next time for another video. Bye-bye.